Hey guys, Waifu Elector here, the only fair human on earth, and we've got some nuts news, some nuts as fuck news going on here. And I don't plan for this to be a long video because I've spoken all I care to really speak about Concord at this point. I've said everything I think needs to be said, but then poof, here's more that needs to be said. Because PlayStation has taken down Concord. It's offline. Well, not just yet, but it'll be offline on September 6th. That's very close. And not only is that very close to right now, that's very close to when the game came out. It's only been like 2 or 3 weeks or some shit. Like, this is unbelievable. This is unprecedented at the very least. At the very least. I thought this game is probably gonna exist for what, like 6 months, half a year or some shit. It'll be dead and in the ground and basically nobody will be on it before the 6 months, but they won't pull the plug until about 6 months. We couldn't even get there though. It couldn't even make it there. They pulled the plug so fucking fast. I've never seen a game just get killed this fucking quickly. I've never seen it, especially something this high profile. If I have seen it, I can't remember it, but definitely never seen something like this high fucking profile just get disintegrated, get blitzed this fucking fast. It's really crazy. Even with just how bad the game was received, just how barren the player base was, I just did not think, pulling the game after 2 to 3 weeks, and PlayStation has said they're gonna issue refunds. They're pulling the game from sale immediately, and then they're gonna pull the game offline on September 6th. And everyone who bought the game will be issued a refund. I don't know if the refunds are going to be automatic and everybody's just going to get their money back regardless, or if you have to put in some sort of request for it and then you get it. And the big thing is, what happens to Firewalk now, who developed Concord? Does PlayStation just let them go? Do they try to sell them off to somebody? Or do they just keep them around and go, hey, guys, that didn't work, but try again? Because Firewalk was working on Concord for 8 years, and then they put it out, and it flops harder than like anything in recent memory. That seems like a formula for getting your studio cut, And I already did a whole entire video where I went into the reason why I think Concord failed. One, you've got the $40 barrier to entry that just does not help at all and was very arrogant of PlayStation and Sony to do. But then I think even more importantly than that, was the fact that people just don't want live service multiplayer games from PlayStation. That's not what they want. They don't want this fucking live service hero shooter shit. They don't want it from PlayStation specifically. They'll take it from someone else, not Sony, not PlayStation. But in that video, I was talking about how I don't think Concord deserved to flop like this, in this way, in this fashion. And it got even worse. The fashion with which this game has crashed and burned has gotten even worse, because after about 3 weeks, the entire game is being pulled from existence. It's an insane thing. If it weren't so insane, I wouldn't be on here making a video talking about it, because I don't care to talk about it anymore. I've spoken about Concord in every which way I think I should, but this was too insane not to say something. So yeah, what's gonna happen to Firewalk? Where are they gonna go? What is the fate of that studio? I do kind of hope they get another chance to learn from this and then maybe create something that people do actually want to play. I can hope for that, but what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. It'll be up to Sony, it'll be up to PlayStation to decide if Firewalk is worth keeping around, or maybe they just get reduced to a support studio for other teams at Sony. And then also kind of, what does this mean for the PlayStation live service plan, right? They had the big live service plan. I won't do a full recap of what that is right now, but they had the full live service plan where they had the 12 live service games they were going to come out with in like a few years or something like that. And then that got cut in half because the reception to some of the live service stuff that was going on was not good. So they cut it in half. They had 6 games coming out. Some of those could have gotten cut for all we know. One of those at least was Concord, and we see how that's gone. And then you have Helldivers 2, which was very successful, but has since taken a pretty large dip. It's not as dramatic and as doomsday-y as a lot of people have said, but the game has taken a dip. You mix that with Concord, you mix that with the investment in Foam Stars, right, from Square Enix, if you remember that. Also a quick and easy failure, but where does that leave the PlayStation plan? What are they gonna do now? I wonder if this has shifted that plan in any way. Are there more games that are internally getting canceled, or are the games just being tweaked now? Are they being changed? What does this mean for the Horizon multiplayer game specifically, right? I remember that there was going to be a Horizon multiplayer game. It had leaked early gameplay and all of that, and in all likelihood it was probably going to play similarly to Monster Hunter, but for all we know, that thing could not be happening anymore. Right, The Last of Us multiplayer didn't even make it out the door. The Spider-Man multiplayer got canceled. It just seems like the live service plan from Sony is not one that is going well, and maybe will end up being one they don't follow up with fully, because it's looking to just not be worth it, but what do we know? At the end of the day, they only have to hit once. That's all they want. They want one that just hits, and it sticks, and it stays. Because once you get a live service game to hit, that's just a money printer. It just continues to go and go and go. And that's why these companies risk the failure of these games, because the pros far outweigh the cons. But then you do have to think about perception. If you just continue to be the studio that puts out failing live service multiplayer games, then people are going to stop thinking of PlayStation as the people who put out the big, cool, great, fantastic, bombastic single player games that are just on a different level. They can't be matched. People stop thinking of PlayStation like that, and they start thinking of PlayStation as, oh, here they come again with another bullshit multiplayer game that we don't want to play. And then you become a laughing stock. So you have to think about your perception as well. There's a lot of factors that go into these decisions, I'm sure. More than I'm privy to, certainly. But yeah, whatever. This was just crazy. I just had to quickly talk about it, even if I kinda didn't want to. But anyway, yeah, Concord has failed. This will likely shift the PlayStation Live service plan internally. Honestly, I don't even know if Fair Games is gonna get out of the door. I don't know if you remember Fair Games. It's an upcoming PlayStation multiplayer heist game, which seemed to have even less fanfare than Concord, if that is even possible. But you know, I don't know, maybe an actual gameplay trailer comes out and sentiment changes on it? Probably not, but I'm just saying there is an optimistic possibility, even if it's very unlikely. But yeah, if I truly had to guess, I would say Fair Games probably doesn't even make it out the door. They probably just are gonna cut their losses immediately and just go, oh, you know what? People don't want this kind of shit from us. Scrap it. Or dramatically change it. Maybe it enters even more years of development because they're just going to dramatically change the game. I don't know. This whole situation was just crazy. I've never seen a failure quite on this level play out quite like this, you know? So I just had to talk about it. But I suppose this is the end of the video. Like and subscribe and all the good stuff. And until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I poured one out for Concord ages ago. Goodbye.